you guys? My name's Emily and welcome back to my station, my YouTube station, my fake show where I show you and teach you all of the things that I know. Well, I mean, not all of the things, but maybe someday we'll get there. Today, we are gonna do a personalized album cover, something that I have been doing for years and years and years. And when I say years, I think my first one I did was like maybe 17 years ago. 17 years ago, and it still looks awesome like the day that I made it. So I know that what I'm about to show you works. First thing you guys are gonna do is you're gonna find an album with the fabric cover. This is fabric. You can either have the fabric show through or you can cover the whole thing up. Do you see this right here? You're gonna have to make a decision. A lot of albums come with a frame in the middle. If you want the frame to put a picture in there, fine. If you wanna do away with the frame, all you're gonna do is slide out that insert and you're gonna be able to design up the whole cover. It's really, really easy, you guys. Also, as I'm running through this whole project scenario and showing you all the things that I'm using to do my album cover, note, all the links are below. So if you're just like, oh, I'd really like a fabric covered album, guess what? I linked some below for you. Or if you're like, Mod Podge, what the heck is Mod Podge? Don't worry, I have it linked for you. Or if you're just like, Emily, I see you have a whole surplus of paints right there. I sure do, and guess what? They're linked below. I am going to go with a whimsical situation on my album, which means I'm gonna keep a lot of the pink showing. It's gonna end up being my sky. My vision stems from this vintage card. This is going to become a Mother's Day album for me because guess what? I am a mother after all. And inside, I'm going to have pages of my doodly-doos. If you are following me, you've already seen it. If you are like, wait, what? You posted a video and I didn't see it? Like and subscribe. It's easy, you guys. Then you're not gonna miss any Emily's along the way. Anyway, I found this card right here and I was like, dude, I really like her. She's retro, she's vibing. I'm gonna cut her out. My go-to scrapbooking scissors, I've shared these with you guys many, many times before. Hang on while I concentrate. I have my girl. We're gonna throw on some paint. If you wanna paint on top of your album, you guys, acrylic paint works really, really well. When my kids were young, I used to give them a fabric album and they would paint it and design it all by themselves. All by themselves, you guys. So stinking cute. I am not even kidding. And that is a great idea if you are making this for, say, Mother's Day, which is right around the corner, you guys. That's why I'm making mine. This is a Mother's Day album. You're gonna go with whatever vision you have in your head and you're gonna roll with it. There are no rules. There is no right or wrong. I wanna do some clouds. White pearl. We're gonna go with the white pearl situation. Free drawing on some clouds. Now when your album is fabric like this, you guys can do all kinds of different things. You can use markers like Sharpie markers, which I am going to do in a little bit once my paint dries. You can use acrylic paint or use stickers and cutouts like the little girl that I cut out. Just kind of make it your own. When I make cards and when I make scrapbook pages, my creative process tends to make a whole scene, almost like a story. I don't know why that is. But just because I do that doesn't mean you have to. I'm adding clouds. I have some of my clouds kind of going off the page, you guys, because it just adds a little bit of interest. Cute. After creating the landscape of my album cover, I have decided that I am gonna put a picture back in the center here. I'll just slide it in after the album is all finished and dried. Mod Podge. This is like the watered down Elmer's glue of crafting. This works as an adhesive and it's gonna work as a sealer at the very end, but for now my paint is wet and I'm gonna keep adding things on my masterpiece. But I wanna get my girl glued down because I wanna start embellishing and adding things around her. So for Mod Podge, you can use a normal brush. I tend to reach for these because they're disposable and cleaning Mod Podge out of a brush is kind of a pain because it's so sticky. I'm just applying some Mod Podge onto the back of my cutout, you guys. So I am going to just kind of stick her down. And if she kind of peels up a little bit, it's okay because we're gonna really, really stick her down later. See how I have her adhered? And do you see her hand sticking out? This is where the fun part comes. I have 3 kids. I'm gonna add a number 3. It's a sticker, you guys. You can add whatever you want to your album cover. This is dimensional. Guess what? Not gonna matter. Not gonna matter at the end of the day. I'm gonna grab some of these little gems And I'm gonna have these kind of coming out from my 3, kind of like the 3 is going la. These gems are super, super fun because they come in a big long strip like this, but when you're laying them down, you kind of push them down, and then with your thumbnail, you kind of hold and you can just rip it. They're really, really easy to rip apart, so you can make them any length you want. Okay, so we've got our 3, we've got our little lady right here. When I use pens on an album cover, I tend to use Sharpie markers because at the end of the day, at the end of our creating the masterpiece, you're gonna end up sealing the whole thing with Mod Podge. It's gonna keep all of your embellishments on there. It's gonna protect whatever artwork or painting that you did. Nothing's gonna peel up. And you wanna make sure that your ink doesn't run. I've used Sharpie markers in the past. They've never run for me. They've never run from me. You know what? They've never ran for me either, so it's all the same. And I'm just going to, I need my cheaters. I'm just gonna write something about doodly-doos. Hang on while I concentrate. I don't wanna talk while I'm doing this because I guarantee I will misspell a word. I am the world's worst speller. Like, when I write even a thank you note, did you guys know that my phone is right next to me and I'm constantly looking up how to spell words? I am a terrible speller. I don't know what my problem is. Bucket list item. I want to put out a craft magazine. Wouldn't that be cool, you guys? Okay, focus! Doodly-doos, doodly. Doodle, doodling, doodle bug, doodly. For those of you who are 20 years younger than me, this is a dictionary. Every word is in here in alphabetical order. I just looked up doodly. They didn't have doodly-doos, but they had doodly squats, so I mean, close enough. Told you guys that I'm not a good speller. I don't know why you didn't believe me. Stickles. Just want a little bit of red glitter. It's a chicken paper fastener, you guys. I'm going to cut off the back of my paper fastener. Add a little Mod Podge. Glue her down. I'm gonna add a couple flowers. Butterflies. I wanna just add a little bit of an outline around my clouds to kind of make them pop. Just a really light one, and then the silver is going to kind of work with my bling. Think of this album cover almost like you would like an elementary school project. You're just adding to it, you're having fun. Oh, you know what? Might be fun. I wanna add just a few flowers, the same color as my album cover, just because I think it's gonna add a little bit of monochrome cuteness. All of the supplies that I'm using, none of them match. Everything's a little bit different, and that's okay. Adding my flowers back to my silver stickles, and I'm just going to give my flowers some centers. Once you get your album cover to where you want it to be, once you're happy with the outcome, once you've added just enough things where you're just like, yes, I love it, you're gonna let her dry all the way dry, you guys. While this dries, I'm gonna clean up my mess. One of my most asked questions is who cleans up your mess after you make one? Who do you think cleans it up, you guys? My husband? No, I do. And it's pretty easy. It doesn't take long. And I have found, you guys, hang on, rinsing my brush. I have found that if you pick up after you're done crafting, your creativeness is just gonna flourish, because then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, I have another idea. Let's go execute the idea. And you don't have to pause because you're living in a disaster. Clean it up, you guys. That's one of the reasons why I love all of my storage containers so much. Guess what? Flowers are picked up. That was kind of aggressive. I hit that kind of aggressively. Let's talk doodly-doos for just a second. By the way, I have no idea where this random button came from. I just put it in my button container. These little chickens, you guys, I cut out of the package, so I no longer have a place to store the chickens. That is what my mason jars are for. Behind all of my ribbon scraps, I have a mason jar that holds every single color of doodly-doos you can imagine. These chickens, you guys, are mainly white, so I'm gonna stick them in my white doodly-doos jar. I organize all of my things by color. It doesn't take long to put things away, you guys. And that is why I'm such a big fan of containers. You wanna know where my letters go? In my letter box. That shouldn't have shocked you. Stickles. Okay, you guys, once your masterpiece is dry, it's time to seal. And we're gonna use Mod Podge. Here's the deal. When you're putting on the Mod Podge, I don't want you to freak out. It's gonna go on white, you guys. I promise you, it's gonna dry clear. The reason why I like using the matte finish is because I feel like it's more forgiving with your brush strokes. Do you guys see how it's turning white? Even over my Sharpie marker is not running. I'm always a little bit careful when I go over some of my dimensional embellishments. I'm kind of blotting it like this. It's gonna dry clear and your butterfly is gonna stay put. It's not gonna come off, you guys. Trust me, I have done this many, many times. Blotting around my butterfly, kind of giving it a final brush. Even though I didn't paint and draw all over my album cover, I'm gonna Mod Podge the entire thing because it's just gonna give it more of a consistent look. I am here to inspire and give you guys all of the ideas. That's it. And I'm hoping to also entertain you along the way. Okay, carefully going over my flowers. Again, with all of my paper flowers, I'm kind of blotting the Mod Podge on kind of like this, and then I'm kind of working it over the flower. Because you want to create that layer of Mod Podge over the entire thing to just seal it in. Seal in the goods, you guys. If you are blotting on your Mod Podge and all of a sudden one of your embellishments lifts up, don't freak out. You're going to take it with your fingers and you're going to put it back where it's supposed to go, and you're just going to press it down with your foamy brush. It will stick right where you want it to. One of my favorite album covers I did was a cover that I let my kid just go at it with the acrylic paint. It was everywhere, but it turned out so darling. And then in the middle where the little frame is, I put this little frog embellishment with a voice bubble that said, "Made by Spencer." So cute. Once you have your whole album cover covered, you just have to let it dry. That's it, you guys. Where I started up at the top is already starting to turn clear, and eventually it's just gonna look like a big sealed situation. While this dries, I'm gonna show you guys a couple of the album covers I've done in the past where I've painted, added things, done all the things personalized with my Mod Podge, just to kind of get you rolling, get your ideas going, get your brain thinking in the direction of, yeah, I can totally do a custom album cover. Hang on. Okay, this is just a few of the albums that I've done over the years. This was a canvas cover. I painted it, you guys, Mod Podged over it. And for this one, I took the acrylic paint and I literally splatter painted it, kind of like you did in the 90s. So cute. This is a label maker, but once I Mod Podged it, everything's on there. None of it's going anywhere. This is the album cover that my kid did. Painted it, and then I added that frog with that little voice bubble saying designed by Spencer. And then I also added a couple flowers on the bottom. But do you see, even though it's dimensional, it's all on there, you guys. The Mod Podge really does wonders. Here's an album cover I did, a lot of dimensional letters, numbers, but I also cut out pictures, real photographs that I put on there with Mod Podge, sealed over the top. Do you see how it dried clear? And then for this frame, I put the year. So 2007, scrapbook that in there, and then I just Mod Podged over the top of that as well. Rubber stamps, stickles, you guys can do whatever you want. There are no rules, and with these fabric covers, they personalize so well. Here's another one I did. This is just from cutouts of old vintage cards. I also have some buttons, a couple gemstones, but I just kind of did a collage, and I didn't have a plan for making this album. I just started gluing down with the Mod Podge, and I just kind of went with it. This is actually a vintage paper plate that I found at a garage sale. So I cut out the happy birthday part, stuck it in the window. So cute, you guys. So I mean, think outside the box. If you see something, anything, and you're just like, wow, that is darling, I want to use it, because there are no rules when it comes to embellishments. She's almost totally dry. Do you see how I have some white around some of those embellishments? That's gonna dry clear, but do you see how everything is just on here, glued on? It's not going anywhere. For that middle picture, you guys, one of the best ways I have found to do this is to find your picture that you want to frame, take your little plexiglass, trace it around your picture. That way you're going to know exactly where to cut for your frame. See that? Now all I'm going to do is place this back into my album, just like that. Personalized scrapbook cover. Do you guys see how cute this is? Crafting does not have to be a complicated thing. It just has to be fun. Thanks for being here.